Privyet, I am the Russian bot known as Comrade Dmitry, aka Robert Fried, broadcasting live from some rundown Soviet ghetto in the middle of nowhere in Siberia. Today we will be live streaming about the current debate. I can't speak. This Russian bot cannot speak. Today we will be live streaming about the yesterday's debate about between Friended Forever and Godless Engineer about anti-theism and whether or not it is rational. Today I have two guests. Hopefully another one will be joining here pretty soon. But my first guest is the White Engine. Say hello.
Buongiorno.
Good. My other wingman here is Mr. Brass. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Mr. Brass. Nice to be joining you, comrade.
Nice to be joining you too, comrade. So, let's begin this, shall we? What did you guys think of the debate overall?
To be charitable, Gleason had some valid points, and so did Friended, but they both also had bad points, especially GE with his bad history and all.
Well, yeah, I mean, I pointed out that, yeah. Like, and what's funny is I got blocked, just like, not blocked, but I got muted, just simply for saying that he has no basis on which to say history because he's a Christ mythist, and his girlfriend muted me for that specifically.
Right, and that's another thing I hope to kind of get down to business here was from what I heard anyway was that you, Mr. Brass. Oh, there's.
Hi guys.
Oh, hey, Harmsy.
I know what fucking is. I know what mucking is, motherfucker. Sorry, it's one of my friends. I know what mucking is.
Anyway, yeah, say hello, Harmsy.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Say hello.
Hello.
Trivia. Anyway, yeah, we were discussing the debate between Friended Forever and Godless Engineer on anti-theism and whether or not it is rational. So, what's your intake or input into the take?
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Okay. I mean, I did enjoy the debate for the most part. I mean, I kind of gave a small little criticism of John when he lost his temper. I mean, granted, I think Brenda was being a little bit interrupted during the debate. But at the same time, I don't think John should have gone at that level of temper. I get it, but at the same time, it's the debate. But I get it. I mean, for the most part, I felt it was relatively decent.
Yeah, but Gleason tends to Gish Gallop, and they just let him.
Well,
yeah.
The problem I had was with his history and some of the overgeneralizations about how religion functions, both present and past. Yeah.
And I think it is like is like they just felt like they were stacked again.
Hold on. Gaytheist, mute yourself because of the wind.
Sorry.
We're saying, Brass?
I said it just felt like they were, what's that word? They were stacking the deck against Friended, and it doesn't help that Kyle Curtis himself is an anti-theist. So automatically from the back, he's going to be having an invested interest in everything that Godless Engineer says, no matter how BS it is.
Right, I thought it was a bit unfair on Friended Forever's part when Kyle kind of inserted himself into the whole debate because like it was supposed to be between Godless Engineer and Friended Forever, not Friended Forever against both GE and Kyle.
And Kyle seemed to insinuate.
I can sum up every negative argument that Kyle has against religion. Basically, it comes down to the fact that he was treated like shit because he was gay by religious people. That's the entire basis for his anti-theism.
But they don't ever say a peep about atheist homophobes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is, I mean, I hate when he like brought it up as, and it's supposed to be like a big conversation stopper, and that's what I hate about it. Like, okay, I mean, you could use that argument back in like 2008 when there really was, I think, a lot of serious issues with like Christian conservatives and the whole homosexual thing. But it's the year 2018. Things have changed drastically,
and
and
not
even
for
for
and
those
not for the better.
Well, and even for those Christians who are against homosexuality, most view it with kind of a shrug, like, okay, it's sinful, but whatever.
Yeah, but like I don't condone it, but I'm not against their rights.
Right, and yeah, it's like the same way I view pornography. I don't I don't condone it, but let other people enjoy it.
Well, I mean, like,
Did someone
and
say
what's funny
gay?
is like those. I mean,
Did someone say
things
gay
like
and
you can
porn?
say, what do you call me?
No, I said
Did
I said
someone
pornography.
say? Did someone
What?
say gay and did someone say porn? Because those words together are my favorite.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
See, we have a gay atheist porn star right here.
Oh, I
But I
wish.
mean,
I'm a baked potato.
How intolerant we are. We're showing how homophobic we are right now.
Yeah, we're all Dean's little. They're all, according to KC, we're all Dean's little fuck boys,
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
or our fuck buddies.
yeah. I mean,
They
I would much
they
rather
allow
be, I would much rather be Dean's fuckboy than be Godless Engineers.
or Godless engineer. If we're going by that, if we're going to play that game, then Godless engineer is Carrier's fuck boy.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I'm gonna get a ton of dislikes for that.
If we're going to play that game, but I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
rather
it's
not.
stupid. Like, I just think it's like if you're gonna stoop to the level of name calling, then yeah, I can play that game too.
Right, and
But I mean, I really don't think we need. Like, that's all she did throughout the entire damn debate is. Like, I honestly think that she should just be banned whenever Godless Engineer debates because she makes it a train wreck whenever he's debating.
And she bans everybody who has opponent who corrects her on anything, and then it turns into an echo
this
chamber.
Is kind of what I wanted to get. This is kind of what I wanted to get down to the business to. From what I heard, was that this at first. This is what I heard at first was that you, Mr. Brass, Engine, and Harmsy were banned from the live chat, and then later I heard that
Okay.
Mr. Brass was put in timeout. But then what happened is that I made a comment in the Friended Forever versus the Godless Engineer debate. I made a comment in that video, and Caitlin Chloe responded to me saying that he didn't know who Harmsy was. Brass wasn't banned, and Engine was banned, but it was for quote unquote repeated abuses. And then she said I was making.
But it's okay when she does it.
Caitlin does know me by name.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, she said she didn't know
And-
you, and
Oh, please, she recognized who I was when it was Gatheus and Cap, which I've never used around her. She knew who.
Okay.
She knew it was me. I mean, it might have been mistaken identity or something. I don't know, but it seemed pretty damn sure she knew who I was because she called me by my. She kind of called me by my name, if I remember
Okay,
correctly.
And
I was muted.
you do what? Go ahead.
I was muted and I left because, like I said, okay, yeah, this is what the chat is like. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. Like, because I felt like if I felt like the entire thing was just a waste of time.
The
Because,
live chat. Go ahead.
I just felt like it was just a waste of time for me to be there because I only got like 3 comments in and I was already muted. I was muted once, so I said, all right, if every word I'm going to say has the risk of me being muted, then why am I going to just bother staying through this entire thing?
Because
I
Caitlin's in
honestly
charge.
feel like unless she gets banned or unless she gets unmodded, I don't even want to come back there.
But
Well,
haven't you heard? It's okay when she does it. She gets to call Friended Forever a cunt and call say he's full of shit and that nobody likes Friended. He's a piece of shit and everything.
well,
Like and she calls me out for, and she does exactly what she accuses me of doing. Like
Right.
I can't tell
And
if she's really being this intentionally double standards or if she really lacks self-awareness.
well, the problem I have is that she's saying that I was making shit up in her comment to me when I have testimony from all three of you guys about what happened. So
Well,
that's my issue.
she's a Christ myther, so she subscribes to making shit up.
Should I give what happened with me in detail?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay. I hopped on the stream and I was enjoying it. I was putting myself out there a little bit, like just questions, a few comments here and there. Nothing insulting, right? I wasn't trying to
Right.
start shit. I was just trying to have a conversation and bring up possibilities. So I saw she was on there, and I mean, I know John, Caitlin, and I, we got some bad blood, but I do sincerely hope their family's doing well. And I said, hey, Caitlin, great to see you again. Great to see John again. I mean, we got bad blood, but basically I put it down as I know we got bad blood, but I do hope you and your family are doing well. And she responded. Even Piggle can back me up on this one. She responded very rudely, like and you know that. Just go and like just something. I forget what the rest of what she said, but so I just responded with a casual "okay," and then I was talking with other people on there, making a few comments, just not being rude. And Engine asked me just to ask Caitlin to look at militant atheism within the Soviet Union. I believe is that right, Engine?
Yeah, she says that the harm religion has done is documented all over the world, and since I was blocked, I couldn't tell. Since I was blocked, I couldn't tell her to this. So I told Gatheist to relay the message to look up all the headlines from the Cold War and tell him who was causing all the violence. Militant
and with that,
communists.
I'm like, hey, Engine, I'm just doing this as a little favor to Engine. I don't care either way if you do or not. I'm not even gonna hold it against you. I don't give a shit. But Engine wants you to look up militant atheism within the Cold War, and that's when she said, I don't take messages from Engine and I blocked him. You're blocked, and now you're blocked. And I couldn't answer anymore. All my stuff disappeared.
oh shit, really? Okay. Well, that's the problem I had with her was that I mentioned that, and then she responded to me, and like I said, she said that she had no idea who Harmsy was. She didn't ban Brass, and she banned Engine, but it was for quote unquote repeated abuses. And then she went on to say that I was making shit up.
She's still pissed because I called her. This was several months ago. I called her Godless Engineer's little cheerleader. This was before I found out they were lovers. So she's still salty about something I said several months ago.
Okay, well, why did she ban you in that particular live chat?
Because she
on
can't.
That video.
She can't take what she dishes out, probably, and she can't handle being corrected.
Well, okay. I mean, did you say anything? I'm just trying to be, fair and honest here.
I don't even remember half of what I said. Like every time I'm in the live chat, I'm always pounded on by 5 other anti-theists, and I'm always distracted by responding to them. Like,
you didn't call her insults, did you?
Well, to be fair, I do kind of go on the insult route, but I give back what I get. I'm that kind of guy.
Okay, but did you direct any to her?
No, not any to her.
Okay. Well, that's hugely different, I feel, then. It's one thing to shit talk with other people, but I don't know. I mean, this whole situation's it gets under my nerves.
Basically, she wants to play thought police.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you going to say, Brad?
I don't know. It just like I was on there for just a little while. I typically don't even go on there that much because she's on there, and I've tried my earnest to godness to avoid any possible way that there can be an interaction between us. Like, I have blocked her. I blocked her and her boyfriend from any possible way, like from Facebook, from Twitter, from YouTube, etc.
So, explain why you blocked her and Gleason from Twitter.
I block them for like the same reason why I typically block anyone is like if they if I feel like my friends are being disrespected, and ultimately it comes down like, and you're just looking for any excuse to get pissed off at me, then yeah, I'm just going to say, look, I have, you have the right to say what you want to say, but I also have the freedom of association. So I'm saying fuck you, and I'm not going to associate myself with you. As far as I'm concerned, they are dead to me. Someone could hit them with a car tomorrow, and I would not acknowledge it.
And according to Aaron Raw, he's that Gleason and KC are true atheists, and that's totally not a cultish thing to say at all.
I was gonna say that sounds like some ideological party would say.
Really? Aaron Raw's not? He's ideological? Gee, I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Oh, Brass.
Yeah.
Was there any chance what happened between me and John kind of influenced you banning him? Blocking him?
Yes, that was part of the reason that I did ban him, because of the thing that happened between you and him. That was part of the reason. That was not all of the reason,
Yeah.
but
Oh, I just remembered.
You guys are my friends, and I felt that all that they were doing is disrespecting you guys. Sometimes I felt like maybe they somewhat had a point, but other times it was just like, unnecessary, and I just ultimately found them to be toxic. And seeing what they did to you, Harmsy, like, that was just another icing on the cake, to just say, all right, I'm done with you, and I just blocked them. That was it.
Yeah. I just unsubscribed and just basically walked away.
Basically, the live chats on there are usually a cry fest, but I have this autistic compulsive need to correct people when they say something stupid, which is often on there.
Right, and that's
Wait.
kind of my downfall too.
I kind of found what's funny was, like, I put out in the chat, said he's like, Godless Engineer had said, like, something about how almost all wars, like, from the ancient time to like up until like the modern time, were religious based.
Oh, there was a
And
lot of there was a lot I could have said there.
And I pointed out the same thing with the Axelrod, and it shows, he's complete BS. He's not even wrong. Like, anti-theists
I pointed that out too.
they have no leg to back on history, so they might as well give up history.
Well, here's the thing. I made a comment.
Here's the thing. Religion has existed in one form or another for 50,000 years. Anti-theism, militant atheism, anti-theism, whatever, only proved in less than 1 century. Anti-religiosity proved in less than 1 century to be a monumental failure in every conceivable way, and that's not counting the Reign of Terror.
Well, and what I was going to say, I mean, I made a comment saying that that what John said was not true, and there was a commenter who said that I was strawmanning him, and I said, well, I wasn't strawmanning him, I was paraphrasing what he said. But the thing of it is, I mean, he's assuming that every war prior to the modern era was just religious in nature, and that's not true. The 100 Years' War, for example, yeah, it occurred in a religious time, the late Middle Ages between France and England, but it had no religious overtones to it, really.
And they haven't looked up the Encyclopedia of Wars.
Right. And that's what distinguishes a war like the 100 Years' War versus the Baltic Crusades, for example.
And they forget about all the other reasons why people fight wars: for greed, lust of power, for discrimination, or just plain hate. I don't need to tell you there's whole nations in Africa fighting each other in the name of ethnic cleansing. And what do they think people fought over before they started using God as a shield?
Were the Roman wars even religious?
Which I also point them to. Not all who say to me, Lord, Lord, will see heaven. Apparently they forgot that when they want to blame Christianity on all that.
Well, I mean, I feel like at this point, that's all besides the point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, I'm a little irked right now.
Oh, then he also brought up the Council of Nicaea.
Oh, yeah.
Name me one Bible scholar that says that it had anything to do with it.
Richard Carrier.
I said a real I said a real Bible scholar.
And, well, that's the only source that they got. That or Robert Price. That's it.
Price is at least a Bible scholar. So who are you going to trust? Hundreds of thousands of Bible scholars who devoted their lives to the study of Jesus and know for a fact that he walked the earth, and even though they're divided on who exactly he was, or an anti-Christian unemployed blogger.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm arguing online with a lot of these anti-theists who, they just hope that religion is going to go away with education, and we're going to have this magical utopia. And oh God, I mean, they always keep pointing to Scandinavia and Sweden. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to live in fucking Sweden because of how authoritarian.
Yeah, but Austria and Switzerland are doing better than any of those secular nations combined, and they're religious Christians.
Well, and so is Poland. So is Poland and Hungary. I mean, screw Sweden. I mean, that's like their startling example they always show.
And Gleason was complaining about all the atheists being persecuted in Islamic countries, and
well,
I guess he could. Yeah, it is, but he could care less about the Christians getting mutilated and tortured and discriminated over there.
I'll put it this way: for every 10 atheists that get beheaded in Islam, there's 100,000 Christians that get beheaded there.
Well,
they are not just
no. Anti-theists who live in wealthy secular countries are the real victims because they have to listen to opinions they don't like.
Yeah, well, but I mean,
North Korea is pretty
like that's the whole argument. Like Dark Matters 25 got in. He says like, well, if I was in the Middle East, I would be killed for half of the shit that I say on YouTube. I said, well, if I lived in North Korea, I would be killed over half the shit I say on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, North Korea has like something like 65 to 70,000 Christians interned in their deadly Nazi-style concentration camp system, known as Kwanalisol. And the thing of it is, I read from Human Rights Watch, I believe it was, 71% of Christians who are interned there do not survive in those concentration camps.
Of course, so, and I always find funny that they always bring it back to, like the whole homophobia and stuff. Like, do they not know that the worst place to live if you are gay is China?
I was going to say that's another thing too. China's persecuting a religion known as Falun Gong ever since 1999.
Kyle, we like you, but keep this in mind.
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, I do understand there is a religious component to a lot of the homophobia out there, and that it really is awful. But the thing of it is, like I said, you could use that argument back in 2008, but it's 2018 now. I mean, things have changed drastically.
Homophobia isn't just religion.
And I know more atheist homophobes than religious ones, and I've been around.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people just don't give two flying fucks either way about religion who are really homophobic.
No, but there's also all manner of reasons besides religious ones. There's also simple disgust. Some people naturally find it appalling, and there's a father may be upset that his only son turns out to be gay and won't be able to pass on his genes, and that's another factor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna be very specific, like what god did Stalin worship when he killed gay people?
The state.
Because
homophobia. Go ahead.
Homophobia was very much persecuted in communist regimes.
Oh, it was like 7 years in the Gulag for homosexuality in the old USSR.
No, but here's the.
So, I mean, you go, Engine.
Anyway, here's the kicker. They have so much faith that religions Gleason stated that he predicts that religion will die out maybe a few hundred years from now or so, but if religion ever does go away, which it's not, it's humans are hardwired to believe in something greater than themselves, and it's a human thing to worship. But suppose for the sake of argument that it does go away, it will happen after he's long dead and forgotten, so it won't matter either way. His cause is pointless on all grounds.
Well, I think an asteroid is going to destroy the Earth before religion dies, but in which case religion dies with the planet. But the thing of it is, I mean, statistics do not show that. Research does not show that. You look at the world; it's becoming more and more religious, especially in former communist states. People forget, communism once ruled over 1 billion people, and now that all those regimes are gone, religious freedom is restored. I mean,
Well, the world may one day in a new species might pull over a planet.
One at a time. Engine, you go first.
No, go ahead, Brass.
I was just going to say we should let Harmsy talk, so, because I feel like we've been talking over him.
Okay, well, do you have anything to say, Harmsy?
Which matter? The homophobia matter?
Yeah, the homophobia matter is good, because, you have more experience in that regard.
Yeah,
we do value
that. You can say I have experience with that shit again. Which part do you want to talk about? The fact that I almost became homeless because I had a boyfriend, the fact that I had someone try to slice my throat open because of it. Which one do you want to
know?
Either one.
Okay, granted, it was done by people who do profess love in Christ, the love of Christ, but for as many religious homophobes that I know more Christians who have stood by my side no matter what. Even if I am a cock-sucking motherfucker, they have stood by my side because of who I am, not because I'm gay. Like, I'm gonna say this for kind of like, dude, I understand especially if your anti-theism does come from religious abuse because of your sexuality. I understand that. I've been through a lot myself. But I also know there's more Christians who are willing to accept me, even if I am. If they disagree with me, more willing to stand by my side, even if I am. I have met more atheists also recently, especially when it comes with the fascists, because as an anarcho-capitalist, I'm an enemy of the fascists. I'm an enemy of the communists. And the fascists, I've actually been dealing with them a lot more online. And guess what they go after? These atheist fascists. Guess what they go after? Can you guys take a guess?
Gay people.
What's one of their biggest insults towards me?
The fascistas.
And they use a certain 3-letter word every single time.
Yeah.
Not that I care if they do, but like Vincent said, I know more atheistic homophobes. Or with the concept of religion doing war, that's some wars. That's not all wars. I would not even say that's majority of wars. Like you guys have pointed out, look at that. It's land. It's like saying us going against Syria in war right now is about religion. No, I would say it's actually more about oil. Or us going to war against Russia or a war against China. That would not even be a religious war. I don't even think the war in Iraq was religious.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it. I mean, the thing about Syria, you could write a whole book on, but basically what happened there was that Obama was funding these so-called freedom fighters known as the Free Syrian Army, aka the FSA. And then when ISIS rose up, many of those FSA fighters we trained defected to ISIS and became the new problem. So, and China was actually selling ISIS weapons too. They still are actually, despite it being an atheist.
We aren't.
We probably are. I mean,
but yeah, like guys, anti-theist. I'm an atheist. I'm religious friendly. For a couple of years, I was a bit of an I was a little bit of an edgy anti-theist, but that didn't last because I had religious people prove me otherwise. I mean, I'm still an atheist, but I have seen otherwise when it comes to religion. I have seen very evil parts of religion, and I have seen some of the most amazing parts. I don't care if it lives or survives. I don't give a shit either way. Why
Anyway,
should
what's
you?
your analysis of a G's Gish Gallops and his points?
Oh, Kent Hovind?
That's gonna trigger him.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that
I
really
don't
gets
I don't
under his skin.
at the same time, my blood's boiling. I'm sure when I pop up, their blood boils. So I believe this is a mutual blood boiling fuck you to both sides.
The funny thing is,
So John,
he and Casey accused me of calling him the Hovind of atheism. Although I never said that, but people already call him that. He's already known as the Hovind of atheism, and I would say he is. I actually call him the mythicist G-Man, but Kyle thought that was an unfair comparison. I thought that was an unfair comparison because G-Man's a horrible human being compared to Kyle. No, I mean according to Kyle, but
yeah, G-Man is.
I like Kyle. I mean, I disagree with Kyle, but I mean, I don't hate the dude.
yeah, I like him.
You know,
I like him too. But he's just
Yeah,
sometimes
so
he just
I have
lets
no
his. Anyway, what were we saying?
You were saying he lets his what?
Oh,
Mhm.
he lets his anti-religiosity cloud his judgment.
Yeah,
Right. That's my problem too.
and I mean, I think, you know, but here's the difference
He
between me
thinks Christianity is a hateful religion, although the central tenet of Christianity is to love your enemy.
Yeah, I mean, but here's my
Well,
You
thing.
should know
Like,
this.
here's the difference between me and a lot of anti-theists with bad religious experiences. I can take those bad religious experiences that I've had, and I can recognize that there are assholes of all different denominations, religious faiths, and non-religious faiths. And I can recognize, you know, that my sister, you know, while I still love her, of course, it's like, you know, she in that moment did something horrible that, like, and I truly believe that, like, she was sort of like that before she became real religious. So I have no doubt in my mind that if she wouldn't have became a devout fundamentalist Christian, that she would have probably have just found something else to shove down everyone's throat. So I mean, oh, another funny thing is, like, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight?
Themselves.
What?
You don't get that? I said, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight?
What?
Freedom.
Come on, engine.
Oh yeah.
You didn't get that's a George Carlin joke. Atheists would love that one.
Oh yeah. He's one of their great thinkers.
And here's what's funny: he never proclaimed to be an atheist. In fact, he actually had said in his book, when is Jesus going to pass the pork chops or something like that? He said, I am not an atheist and I'm not an agnostic. I'm an acrostic. The whole thing puzzles me. And he even talked about something like the big electron. He didn't believe in God.
Acrostic. What's an acrostic?
Oh, it's like a combination between atheism and agnosticism.
Then he was an atheist and agnostic.
What's funny about it is, like, he would say that, but, like, on the other hand, is like he was a very, like, he was more of a, like, a 60s hippie guy where he got into the LSD and had his mind altering experiences. So while he didn't believe in God per se, like, of how, like, Christians perceive him, he was very much open to, like, things like what he called a guiding intelligence or a guiding force. Or like an organizing force. So I mean, I would put him more as like he was somewhat of more of a deist, a weak deist.
So a weak version of you.
Pretty much. You know, and I find it funny because, like, here's what I notice whenever I get online, and like, if I criticize atheist, all of a sudden I'm a young Earth creationist evangelical Christian. And
wait, you're not?
And if I criticize Christians, all of a sudden I'm a dogmatic atheist that wants religion to die. I'm like, do you guys not watch anything I publish? I mean, that I put out?
Well, that's how I feel sometimes too. I mean, I get dogmented by like right wing, really diehard Christian conservatives because I'm not a Christian conservative. Cough cough, RC apologist, or what's his face now? Yeah, RC apologist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get dogmanted by the militant atheist too because I'm not a militant atheist. I mean, I'm someone who used to be a evangelical Baptist Christian, now vague theist, non-religious theist. Who once had I can't speak. Who once had a high school sweetheart who was a Cambodian American Buddhist.
And and I mean, that's just a whole nother thing with RC. I don't, I blocked him too, and apparently that got him his panties in a bunch too. But I mean, I did I banned him for the same reason that I blocked Godless Engineer. I felt there was nothing productive that could ever come from.
Also, you got into a tweet argument with a Cranium over Hitler being a Christian and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of it was stupid because he tried to say that I was denying that the Catholic Church was anti-Semitic. No, I mean, I made sure to point out, I said, no, was there anti-Semitism involved? Yes, of course there was, but I'm arguing over the extent of it back then. Like, did it exist in the Catholic Church at the time? Yes, but how bad was it? And I sort of feel like the guy that has to correct the dude that says about how severe a hurricane is, because the guy will say, oh, the hurricane destroyed the entire town. Then I merely point out, no, about maybe 20-30% of the town was destroyed. And then another guy says, oh, so you're saying that the hurricane never happened? I'm like, how did you get that?
Well, and I would actually disagree with you there. I mean, I've studied the Nazi policy towards religion, and I've studied the Catholic Church under the Third Reich rule and the Nazi Kirchenkampf, which was the struggle against the churches, and how the Catholic Church rescued so many Jews. Like, according to scholar Ronald Rishlock, up to 500,000 Jews were rescued by the Catholic Church all throughout Nazi-occupied Europe.
I mean, yeah, I also like to make sure there's a distinction between anti-Judaism and anti-Semitism.
Right, and the traditional, I mean, the anti-Semitism of the Catholic Church, like in the Middle Ages, was more religiously bent. By the 19th century, that had, thanks largely to a lot of these neo-pagan thinkers like Schopenhauer and whatnot, the anti-Semitism got much more racialized.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between the two. Anti-Judaism would simply mean that you're against the Jewish religion. The Jewish people you could be perfectly fine with, but the Jewish religion. Now, I think both are awful in their own ways, but I mean, I'm not endorsing either view, but I'm saying and the other anti-Semitism is basically you hate the Jewish people. Which
you hate people from the Middle East in general because they're all Semitic.
It's the Arabs and the Jews.
That's a more newer one.
Huh?
So
I love when I get called an anti-Semite because I'm an anarchist.
Well, I mean, you obviously promote social Darwinism.
Oh, shut up! Someone I won't name on stream.
Anyway, we gotta all right, we gotta talk about Dean's behavior lately.
Okay,
the good or the bad?
What do you?
Or the I don't know. Let's start with the good.
All right, you guys go.
He's less of a dick.
Huh?
He's becoming a little bit less of a dick.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, he has been he was doing good for a while, but he sort of just fell off again. And I'm trying desperate, like, you know, I told, like, in one of my chats under a different account, I said, look, because, I mean, I don't agree that Shannon Q did really anything wrong to him, but I just said, look, even for the sake of argument, to say you're completely right on everything, and that they, like, you were screwed over and you were hurt in this, it's done. Get over it. It's over.
Yeah, there's no.
Hold on, Brass. Rob, Captain Z asked if he can get a source for the China thing.
What do you mean by source? Like on the religion thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Shoot. Yeah. Okay. Where to begin? There's like so many sources out there.
And just send it to him on Discord.
China Uncensored actually has a bit about the Yon.
I was just about. What? Oh yeah, the Falun Gong. Watch China Uncensored.
Yep.
Okay, let me explain this. Watch China to Captain Z. Watch China Uncensored's video on the Falun Gong. Just type it in, China Falun Gong, and he also talks about other religions like Christianity under the communist rule there. Also, I recommend a book called what is it called? Oh Jesus, popping up. It's
Berserker also wanted the source.
Yeah, same to him too. I think it's okay. It's the hidden history of Tibet. Hold on, I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. But a book about Tibet by a man named Sergei Kuzmin, I think is his name, and it's about Tibet. I just type in the hidden Tibet and Sergei Kuzmin, and you should get a source on that. Yeah, that's on China. There's many other sources. I'll probably Discord you on. So yeah, just contact me there.
Anyway, Brass, back to Dean.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sort of like saying that, look, even if I grant you 100% of the argument and just say you were completely screwed over, it's over. Get over it. It's done. There's no need to beat it into like the ground even more than, it's already been done. So, I mean, and I don't think Shannon, really did anything that bad or nothing. I mean, I probably made like 2 minor nitpicks and about her, like, I can't remember. I remember one where I just said she overgeneralized, and that's just
overanalyzed.
And that's and she explained to me in a conversation that she does that to get to know people better. And I said, you know what? Okay, I can maybe see that. I'm just saying, like, that's how I seen it. That was my interpretation. Perhaps I misread the situation. But, like, that was like, if that's the only that's really the only critique. Oh yeah, I remember the other one. I said she was a MILF. And, here's what's funny. Like,
well, you're not lying.
No, I mean, here's my funny thing about that is, like, that was taken to be as an insult. When, look, I could really care less, like, about that. Like, I don't even consider being a MILF like an invalid job option, like in any sex industry or anything. And it was very clear, like, the whole conversation was just a joke. And, like, and really, because hell, even in the conversation, I made fun of myself. So, I mean, it was clear that, like, I wasn't trying to be, say, like, and hell, if I wanted to say mean stuff about people, I mean, I wouldn't use like the term like MILF to be an insult, because I would consider that more of a, if anything, I would consider that more of a compliment than anything. Because, I mean, that's at least acknowledging that you're someone that's pretty, that someone would want to have relations with. Yeah, and this is just, it's a little off topic, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, I made, and I kind of take that back, because I do admit that I may have been just more immature.
Right.
But I mean, I did, but I didn't mean that as an insult.
Sure.
But
Just real quick, the book it just came to my head, or I had to Google it actually, to be honest. The book is called The Hidden Tibet: History of Independence and Occupation. It goes into detail about the persecution in Tibetan Buddhism by the Chinese communists, as well as it goes into like a general history of Tibet. So I recommend that book. It's by an author named Sergius L. Kuzmin, who is a Russian scholar, a Russian expert in Buddhism and Eastern religions. So that's a highly recommended work. Anyway, let's get back to the what we were talking about.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
all
but
right.
I mean-
Now the bad.
All right, the bad.
yeah, the bad. I mean, like just like with me, with Dean. I mean, I like Dean. You know, I really truly do. I do think he's a nice guy. I think he can just be a little over passionate sometimes, and he can just cross the line into unacceptable territory. That's my real problem. I just say, look, you know, with the non sequitur and stuff, I said, look, even if they truly did you wrong, which, you know, I can debate that, but even if I truly grant you that there's no reason to keep mentioning it. It's a dead issue. All bringing it up does is just ostracize, you know, yourself and anyone else more.
He just needs to
Yeah,
stop.
definitely.
He needs to stop generalizing. That's all.
Yeah, and Dean, if you see, and Max, if you see this is not an insult towards you. Shit, you know I love you, man. Like, honestly, Max is a very good person. He seriously is. Just, he's like me when I lose my temper. When I lose my temper, I say some of the worst, darnest things in the world. Some of you know
I
this.
can be pretty nasty too. A lot of people haven't seen my nasty side. I can be really vile when
I
I'm
will use
ticked
every
off.
single
So am I,
slur as I can. I'm one of those people. If I'm pissed off, I will start using slurs, even if they're not applicable, just because I can, and because I'm pissed, and because I'm venting. So I get where Dean goes when he loses it, but at the same time, I'm Max. Max, I know it's hard. I know we got tempers. We just breathe.
I do
Okay,
tell him that he needs to.
and for me, I openly condemn his vitriol and his personal attacks on Steve McRae and Kyle and all of them. I do not associate myself with that kind of vitriol of any kind, and I wish he would stop it. It's not doing us any favors, and we're making no progress.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, and go ahead, Harmsy.
Huh? I don't say anything.
You gonna say something?
oh,
No.
my
Okay.
problem with oh, I was
Hold on.
saying,
Let me
Oh,
say
you
something
go.
real quick. The thing of it is, I do understand. I mean, I've seen a lot of the darker sides of like the militant atheist community online, and it has gotten me ticked off to, you know, where I just need to like take a break, a couple days or a week off the internet. But the thing of it is, it's best not to just engage with these people. I mean, now's the time when religion is, I think, coming back to the internet, and we need to seize the day on that instead of just fighting useless battles.
Yeah, but with the rise of the flat earthers, they're knowing how it feels, how theists been feeling for the past decade. Like
Right.
they get droves of downvotes and deranged comments. Like, how do you like them apples?
Yeah. By the way,
like, you know,
By
at
the
this
way-
point, I kind of joke about it, and I say, you know what, if I have to tolerate, like, you know, I honestly prefer the flat earthers over the new atheist at this point. Like,
right,
I would
but-
much rather, like,
Can
you know,
I interrupt
I would
you?
much rather work, you know, I would much rather work with the flat earthers to just take on the new atheists than at this point, because I just feel like they're the worst enemy of the bunch.
Right. Can I interrupt real quick? JMD watched the debate between Friend and Forever and Godless Engineer. Does anyone want to invite him?
Yeah, invite them.
Onto here?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
With everyone?
I just never talked.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about you, Brad? All right. Engine, could you send him the link?
I can't. I'm on a phone.
Oh shoot.
I can try to.
Yeah, Brass, could you send the link to him?
So it's
Yeah,
evened
try-
out. We got a deist, two secular theists, a gay theist, and inviting a Christian. So it's a fair
we got
so
fair representation.
it's a fair commentary on the vid.
Right. But going back to what you were saying, Brass, about the whole flat Earth thing. Yeah, I'm to the point where I don't view creationists. I mean, like, okay, sure, their beliefs are wacky, but I don't view the whole creationist people as being anti-science just because they believe in creationism. I mean, for example, Ben Carson, he's like a neurosurgeon. Say what you want about his politics, but he's also a young Earth, like he's like a creationist of some kind.
Well, I don't think he's
But
young,
that doesn't
but
impede-
he is. But he was the first to separate Siamese twins, and his legacy got tarnished over his political views. Because when it comes to politics, he is kind of a loon.
Well, that's why I'm saying besides his politics. I know he is like a creationist, but his creationism doesn't stampede on his surgeon work. And so I mean I think Ben Carson alone being a surgeon makes him more qualified in the area of science than someone like Godless Engineer or Caitlin Chloe or any of these militant anti-theists. Despite the fact they're creationists.
And let's just say that G's credentials are as good as Ken Ham's.
Right.
Well, I mean, Ken Ham has
did you
like
say-
I think a bachelor's degree in psych or something.
Brass, did you send
I was just saying that because they're both
Link?
engineers.
Oh, I'm still trying to. I have to type it out because I can't copy and paste it.
Let me see if I can send it to him because I think he has a Discord now. So let me see if I can. Yeah, I wanted to talk more about the Godless Cranium tweets because I did see some of them.
Yeah, he was one of the good ones, but that Hitler Catholic thing is just bullshit. It's just it's not even it's not even history.
Yeah, that's like bullshit.
They actually tried to get rid of him. The church did, but and he would rant about how he would get rid of Christianity after the war was over.
Well, he was doing that in the fucking war, even during the fucking.
Oh, but haven't you heard? The table talks have been debunked. Carrier said so.
Well, first of all, one, there's many sources outside the table talks that confirms Hitler's anti-Christianity, like the testimonies of Trudel Jonge and Walter Hewell. And two, I actually read Carrier's studies into that. He only debunks like 3 of the quotations in question. He doesn't go through all 27.
Don't you find it odd that whenever he talks about religion and role in history, that religion is always vilified every single time?
Also,
like that seems like a trustworthy guy, don't you think?
Yeah.
there's another thing I do like to bring up when it comes to Hitler and Christianity. I like to bring up Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Oh, he was pretty cool.
And he was also a Calvinist and a theological doctor, and the guy tried to kill Hitler.
Yeah, I recommend everyone read a book called Bonhoeffer, Pastor, Martyr, and Spy. That was an excellent book. And
just listen to Tim O'Neill's talk with what's his face? That one guy who ran an atheist podcast, but then after that debate with Sargon of Akkad, the whole atheist community just started splintering. It was can't remember that guy's name. Anyway, he has it linked on his blog in historyforatheists.com.
Really?
And he goes into detail about it, how the church actually wanted to get rid of Hitler, and Hitler was not a Christian, even though he wasn't atheist either. He was a quasi-deist who happened to change his mind a lot.
I'm asking JMD if he has an email.
Yeah,
'cause
JMD
I can't copy
JMD
it.
Apologetics 101. Do what?
No, I'm just saying I can't copy it for some reason.
All right, hold on. Let me get in my Gmail and then I'll see if I could compose it. And do you know his email engine?
I think I did, but I forgot it. Hold on.
Brass, do you know?
Do you know it, Brass?
I mean, it should be on his YouTube. I just have to go through it.
Message him on Facebook.
I mean, yeah, I got his Facebook. I'm trying to see apologetics. Oh, there it is. View email address.
I love screwing around with porn bots on Tumblr.
All right, jmdapologetics101
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
Okay. Oh, could you repeat that? Is it all capitalized or what is it?
Hold on.
JMD is capitalized. Apologetics is not. 101 at gmail.com.
Wait. I think okay, cool. I think it auto.
It's a capital J, capital M, capital D.
Okay, I think I may.
And the rest is lowercase apologetics 101.
Okay, well, I think I may have just sent it to him because we emailed. I think he emailed me before, and then I emailed him one time. So hopefully he'll get it. Yeah, I mean, going back to Godless Cranium, I hate to constantly talk about him, but I just think that whole Hitler was a Christian and the Holocaust was motivated by Christianity, man, tried to be really stupid.
But here's why would he that's totally forgetting the 3 million Catholics he killed and tell me what he did with the churches that he didn't burn down. He replaced the crosses with swastikas.
Well, and a lot of them that he converted as his forces were like sweeping through Poland and the Czech Republic, they turned a lot of convents and monasteries into literally like freaking brothels for SS troops.
And what did he? And they all like to point out that the Nazis had belt buckles with "God with us."
Yeah,
but also for conveniently like to forget that anti-theists aren't very well versed in history to begin with, so they won't know that those belt buckles were leftovers from the Prussian Empire.
And they don't specify. It doesn't say Jehovah or in Yahweh or Yahweh with us or whatever. It just says God means generic God.
Yeah.
But hi JMD, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I just came off a stream on Shannon Q's channel.
Okay.
Oh, what happened there?
Did you watch?
Oh, it was on objective truth and morality and so on.
That she interviewed a pseudo scholar Carrier tonight with a Godless Cranium.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
and Holy Kool-Aid.
Yeah, the Christ mysticism. Yeah, Eddie.
The Netherlands.
Huh?
Oh, hi, JMD.
Oh, hey.
Hi, JMD. About the churches and Hitler, another thing I forgot to bring up. Okay, so my adoptive grandfather from my father's side was actually under Hitler's reign in World War II. He did escape, but the Netherlands, mainly Calvinist country, actually had a huge underground working with the churches against Hitler. They were not overt in their opposition to Hitler. It was more subliminal and subtle.
Well, yeah, you want to know the reason why that was because I believe in 1942, the Dutch Catholic Church issued an outright open condemnation of the Nazi regime. What happened afterward was that 40,000 Catholic Jews who had been previously exempted from the final solution laws or the deportation laws by the Nazi regime, they were rounded up and sent to the camps. And then many Catholic clergy were just beaten to death by the Gestapo and stormtroopers. But anyway, hi JMD, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I didn't see the full debate. If you're talking about Godless Engineers debate with Friended Forever or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I saw where they were talking about morality a little bit, and I just got off talking about morality, and I brought up if you don't believe in free will, they kept saying, well, why can't you ground objective morality in something besides God? And then I brought up free will at the end, and they sort of avoided that. It seemed like, or the stream ran out of time because if you can't.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, it seems if you can't have an odd or free will, then you can't make a moral system. And if God is the best explanation for free will, then literally it follows. It would seem like that God is a necessary foundation for free will. So you would have to justify free will in some other way.
And if there's there's no objective source, i.e., God, if there is no higher power, and we're all just insignificant specks of dust in an uncaring universe filled with random tragedy, nothing would be wrong.
What was your overall analysis of the
debate?
The debate.
Well, seeing previous debates with Godless Engineer, I don't think he at least doesn't prepare how to debate, because I would agree, because friendly. What's his name? Well, I'll call him FF because they were calling
him Forever.
Yeah, Friend of Forever. He was saying morality was sort of based on ad populum, or popularity, which
consensus.
Yeah, but see that the problem is our government is literally set up as a representative republic, so that mob rule doesn't invoke the rights of minorities and so on.
That's what I was thinking too, because Godless Engineer brought up the whole democracy thing.
Well,
and none of these.
I don't think he understands how our government works, but
they just let him gish gallop, and the audience find him impressive.
Well, but
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The audience of that channel, in the live stream, as far as I can tell, it's definitely that. But anyway, it's pretty bad, so you shouldn't really care what they go on about. Many of them said Delahunty won his debate with inspiring philosophy, so that should tell you how smart they are.
Well, the thing of it is, Godless Engineer brought up the whole democracy thing, and in many ways so did Friend of Forever, but what they both fail to realize is that the United States is not a democracy. We're a constitutional federalized republic.
Oh, yeah, I think he brought up secular values. Whether you guys think the Founding Fathers were Christian or not, I think the majority of them were. I think the ones who were deists, I think there are quotes supporting that even though they may have not fully accepted Christianity, they support the idea of Christianity.
Oh, and he brought up the slave trade, about Christianity being vital to the slave trade. And I mentioned...
See, if you want to claim that America is based on secular values and slavery was... They always claim that slavery is rooted in America's culture, It was from the prior British culture, and that's why we sort of rebelled and so on.
Well, here's what's funny about that. We technically didn't outlaw slavery. We outsourced it to the government.
What happened is we blockaded the African nations.
Well, no, this is a fun fact that doesn't really get brought up a lot about the government. But, slavery is still legal. It just, in order to have slaves, you'd have to be in a government position of power, and they'd have to be in prison.
Or you go to
slavery
China.
Slavery is still legal technically.
Brad, you're gonna make the end cap brands.
No, I'm just saying, the government can own slaves, but
North Korea, they have slaves. They're called forced laborers, who are political and religious dissidents who get their asses.
So
literally,
we can't have slaves anymore.
Yeah, we can't have slaves anymore, but the government can.
I'm in trouble.
Unless you go to Libya, which was liberated by the Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton clique, in which after they overthrew Gaddafi, they literally brought back chattel slavery.
Yeah.
But going back to the founding fathers, I agree completely, JMD. Even the ones that weren't Christian in the traditional sense, they still viewed that Christianity was vital to the freedom of the or the continuing freedom of the republic.
Well, I have the quotes that prove it as well.
Thomas Jefferson himself was not a Christian; he was a deist, and he published an entire book called the Jefferson Bible, extracting, the good moral characteristics of Christianity, which he saw was present.
Oh, but here's the thing that gotta get Christmithers worried.
Hell, even
like,
Thomas,
like he tried to
even
take out.
Thomas.
Well, one at a time.
Well,
Oh.
I'm
Parts
curious
of
how
the-
one engine jumped from talking to the founding fathers to Christmithers again.
No, I was talking about this with the Jefferson Bible. Like, here's his.
Well, let Mr. Brass finish because he was saying something.
Yeah, one at a time. Brass, you go first, and then we'll go to Engine.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I actually have the Jefferson Bible on me. That's part of the reason why I got into the whole being pro-religious, was because of reading all of that. And Thomas Jefferson, while he was a deist, he was he was very much for Christianity, like Christian morals, and he wrote an entire book dedicated on extracting the morality from Christianity. And this was a common thing for deists, because sometimes, like, a lot of deists back then, they were not so much anti-religious, but they were anti-clerical. They hated the church institutions, but they didn't really hate much of the religion itself. Like, for example, Thomas Paine, An Age of Reason, where he goes all vitriolic on the church and stuff and on Christianity. Even he, like in the opening of his book, said, like, please note, whatever I say here, is not to reflect on the true good moral nature of Jesus Christ. He was a good moral teacher.
Right, and even he was chastised for that book too. What was it? The Age of Reason.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So even he, like, as vitriolic as Thomas Paine was, even he said, like, that's not to be a mark of, like, the corruption of the church at his time, which he had some valid concerns.
Right.
Because, the Church of England was very corrupt in his time.
Right, okay.
So he had some valid concerns about that in that regard.
Okay, Engine, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Speaking about the Jefferson Bible, he basically took the Gospel of Mark and then just edited out. I mean, if you go to the Gospel of Mark itself and edit out all the supernatural stuff, you'd be surprised how little you have to take out, which leaves a very obviously human Jesus.
Well, what's ironic too is that even in the Jefferson Bible, Jefferson actually states that he is a Christian in the true sense of as Jesus Christ would imagine. So whenever a lot of militant atheists bring up Hitler as a Christian, use some quotation from the 20s or whatever, 1920s, I always bring up, well, Thomas Jefferson said he was a Christian, so by your logic, Jefferson's a Christian. Remember the no true Scotsman fallacy?
Real quick,
They don't
I
like
have to
me
know.
for that.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to note that you guys probably talked about this before, but the guy next to Mr. Brass would look like his son.
Me?
Who?
Me?
The guy next to me. Yeah. The animation is sort of funny.
Yeah. Hi. No,
Hey.
Brass made it for me.
Oh, funny.
I thought you were talking about Engine.
Oh, no. Well,
What?
I guess Mr. Brass is a snake in all reality. Nah, I'm kidding.
We're all going back to the 18th century.
Anyway.
We all need our wigs.
Anyway, he was also talking about the Christianity's role in the slave trade and how it took how they had very little to do with it. He conveniently forgot to mention the Christians were behind the abolition of slavery. And I was asking them, where were the atheists during all this shit when this shit was happening?
Here's the thing. The Western society was the only society. Yeah, it precipitated in slavery, and that's awful. But it was the only society to actually correct those wrongs and abolish slavery. And here in the United States, we had a war over slavery.
Not just that, don't forget the abolitionist movement was primarily Christian. And don't forget England, where Christians brought about the end of slavery within England.
Wilberforce.
Even secularists helped Wilberforce, yes. And before that, what was his name? Amazing Grace. The guy who wrote that one.
Oh
He
yeah.
was kind of one of the inspirations behind Wilberforce himself. Wilberforce looked up to that guy who used to be a slaver and became a Christian. And funny enough, this is an atheist talking about this. Wilberforce, that man who was not a Christian, became a Christian and stopped slavery because of it. And he used that man as an inspiration as his crusade against slavery.
Well, and the thing of it is too, from about the time of when Christianity was established as the state religion of the Roman Empire, to about the late not 13th, what is it, 15th, the late 15th century, Christianity had a really dim negative view of slavery in general.
Well, Christianity always has, I would argue.
Yeah, it wasn't until
and
the late
like,
15th century.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny about this is like the United States was not unique whatsoever in slavery because every other place in the world at the time was doing slavery.
Well, half the world was owned by Britain. It was sort of their thing at that time, it would seem like.
Well, yeah, and here's what's funny about this: we have we can go back to the early days of the church, where like a couple hundred years after that, and you find like, despite not being told to release slaves, Christians were the ones that were more likely to release slaves.
I always like to ask them Christians did use the decontextualized Old Testament verses, which even shows that they didn't know their own Bibles, so they weren't really acting on it. But anyway, they did use the Bible to justify slavery, but what excuse did atheist slave owners have? And none of them ever give me a satisfactory answer.
Well, here's the thing. Most of them define it as just a lack of belief, so you can't tie any moral thing with it besides that. If they want to call us atheists to other gods, then I guess since you're really anti-atheism too, then, because you're against religion, but apparently other religions are atheistic as well under this definition, so you should be anti lack of belief of atheism as well, going by the logic. It would seem like.
Yeah. I always find it just funny about the whole how they just go about with slavery and stuff like that. Like, for one, Christianity played like a great role in ending slavery, and
you can't mention that; it'll disrupt their narrative.
Well, no, I mean this is not even up for debate. Like when you go into in the history department, if you tell them what was one of the founding things that ended slavery, Christianity will be brought up 9 out of 10. You will not find someone that does not say that. And here's what's funny is when you actually look at the arguments that the people that back then used to justify slavery using the Bible, really it came down to 2 passages, and they were easily, like any scholar, ripped them to shreds because the Southern people were not well educated, and it was very clear that they did not really care about the Bible per se, but they were more or less concerned about making money.
They even ripped out the book of Exodus, so the slaves who were illiterate wouldn't be able to have access to it, and
they would have to get rid of.
They also conveniently like to forget the droves of slaves that snuck out at night to hold sermons.
And the fact that if a slave runs away, you are not to return him to his master, or if you sell a man into slavery, literally that passage, you should be put to death as well. So
yeah, but anyway, religion is the main cause of everything that's bad in the world, and everybody had it wrong until the atheists came along.
Well, the French Revolution, the history of the French Revolution proves that wrong right out the window right there.
Yeah,
I forgot to add something.
What?
Okay, weirdly enough, everyone thinks Civil War was just about slavery. It kind of isn't, because one of the ways to point at it is a Christian who was in charge of the Confederate armies. Robert E. Lee, a staunch abolitionist, anti-racist, and a Christian.
Are you gonna go into the what is it? The lost cause theory?
I don't know what that is.
It's basically
I might without actually knowing what the name is.
Well, what the lost cause theory is basically that the reason why the South fought the Civil War wasn't to retain slaves, but because they wanted to do so for states' rights, even though they knew they were going to lose the Civil War. Called the lost cause.
I will say this: Gone with the Wind is more accurate on its history than Carrier is when he talks about it.
Yeah, and that was a really whitewashed version of the South during right before the Civil War.
Does he make claims about that as well?
Who?
Carrier concerning the history of the United States.
Claims about how he probably makes claims about how Christianity encouraged slavery or something like that.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
And he's an actual historian.
There isn't one piece of bad history that Carrier hasn't propagated at one stage or another, except the Nazareth. Except the Nazareth didn't exist crap, which is too stupid even for him.
Well, the thing of it is, he doesn't teach at any university, so yeah, he's a secular activist. That's all he is.
And an unemployed ball.
As William Lane Craig would call him, he's a hack.
Yeah, there you go.
and I have mixed opinions on Craig myself, but he did say that if Carrier gives you a source, you better check it.
Yeah, what are your problems with Craig? Because typically I find when people have problems with Craig, it's usually either a misunderstanding or straw man.
I don't know, he just kind of jumps the gun most of the time. Like, this universe is so magnificent and wonderful, therefore Jesus.
Yeah, I've never heard him say that.
No, that's kind of the gist of his rhetoric.
Well, if you're talking about when he talks about the witness of the Holy Spirit,
and his over reliance on the Kalam.
Well, I think the Kalam is still the Kalam is even compatible with B theory if B theory of time's true. I sort of say both are true in the sense because if time is relative, then why not have two different times of time?
Well, that said, it's still better than Aaron Ra's rhetoric. There's no evidence. God doesn't exist because there's no evidence, and nothing counts as evidence because there is no God.
Runs the fine-tuning more argument in historicity of Jesus as well, and the ontological intentionality arguments as well. And I think he's even run a mathematics argument, or at least he talked about it at one of his presentations. But yeah, the Kalam is his biggest thing because it was his dissertation for one of his PhDs.
I mean, some of my problem with Craig is I think he more or less just goes into these debates out to win.
I disagree with that as well. Unless he's lying both ways, which I doubt.
Well, I mean, I also have caught him making very bad claims.
I
he tried saying that animals don't experience suffering, and he used a BS source that he actually got rightly called out for that.
Animals do experience suffering; they just don't reflect on it as much as humans do.
I think that's what he meant because I think what was that his debate with Sam Harris?
No, Stephen Law.
Okay, perhaps I didn't see that one. I think he meant it more from that position because obviously if you hold to because obviously they would have nerves, they feel it but they don't feel it. If you get what I'm saying there.
I think more or less it comes I liked how my friend Michael Soserdeus he puts it animals feel suffering in the sense they feel pain, but they have no language capacity in order to describe it.
Well, yeah, to sum it up, watch a movie called Hachi, A Dog's Tale, and that's based on a true story.
Damn you, Robert, you had to remind me of that movie. You had to remind me of that book. You know how many times I've cried because of that story?
Yes, I knew it.
Dick.
Well, you remember how many times I've had to cry over that whole Brokeback Mountain thing, so we're kind of even.
I never seen Brokeback Mountain.
And over Mufasa dying.
Is that your favorite movie, Mr. Brass?
What? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
that's very.
deny it. That was a good movie.
That was really good.
It's a good movie. I don't like, if it's a good movie, I don't support it.
Happy Ends party.
Guys, we're letting
I
our
think it's a
homophobia out.
good
I hope you're okay, Armsy.
Oh, God, please. You can use any gay joke at me, no matter what.
Yeah, because we're not
Oh,
being
yeah,
serious.
yeah.
We're kind of like shitting around here.
Well,
I
trust
know.
me, like,
Please, I deal with
I've already-
fascists. I'm fine.
yeah, trust me, I've made plenty of gay jokes on Harmsy, like either in the chat and on
I was jokingly calling him my lover today.
I
Oh,
know,
wow.
and I said, I know, I was just mainly joking. I can't remember exactly what I had said about that. I may have said something. Oh, I remember what I said. I said, yeah, imagine if we got married, no matter whose last name we took, we'd still be duplicates because we have the same first name. Yeah.
I can even appreciate a religion joke. How poor were Christians during the Roman Empire?
How?
They could only afford one god.
How poor?
Yep, that poor.
I'm confused.
Well, hey, the atheists are even poorer then because they can't afford any gods.
Yeah.
No, atheists are the poorest because they deny them all.
Yeah, they're
By the way, I got Calvinist to bring up later.
atheists who live in privileged, secular, third world countries are the victims.
Oh no, clearly the atheist who lives in their mom's basement is obviously the biggest victim.
Yeah,
feel
because
so
the world just can't handle their out of this world genius.
Whereas Mr. Brass
right.
would know the level 100 atheist is the most persecuted atheist.
Oh, the over 9,000
Why do
ones.
I feel?
Oh, did you see that photo I showed Mr. Brass? Oh, it's just so funny.
I didn't say-
What is it?
It's basically this atheist. Well, technically not an atheist, but my partner in crime, he has an Instagram page, and he posted this one picture of a guy who had 9 chins and then like 9 neck beards, and then he had a caption in it, level 100 atheist. You don't have to see it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. But
How long was it going?
for quite a while.
funny.
I mean,
Well, I'm probably gonna leave here soon.
Anyway, I will comment on the Oh, I just had a brain fart.
Oh, what'd you guys think of my one response video I just did?
oh, which one? I may not have seen
To the
it yet.
self-proclaimed friendly atheist.
No, the one I like my most recent upload, the 10 most logical reasons that God does not exist.
That was him also. I recognize. I recognize his condescending white man voice. Was that him?
Well, it was the webcam video I did.
Yeah, he had some like really trippy animation.
Yeah.
Those were just even an atheist chaosism. He's one of the good ones. Even he knows those were terrible fucking arguments.
Yeah, he sent me Deconverted Man's questions, and even he said, "Man, these are horrible questions."
Oh,
I'm going to do a response with that, probably with
Deconverted Man's looking for asking you for a debate also.
Like he contacted me in March and never got back to me. He said he would in April. He had a trip in New York or something.
Send you the terms and conditions for a debate.
Well, don't debate me.
He just asked, what's your epistemology system, basically, and basically we try to work out a common epistemology, I guess. But
JMD, you also got to respond to Aaron Ra's vid on biblical family values.
Oh God!
Perhaps,
I can only imagine what that one's gonna be.
That one decontextualized straw man after another. Oh, it's fucking horrible. Just like every video he talked about religion. He's good.
When he talks about when he quotes about this is his book that he always quotes. It's a Hindu book. I literally can't pronounce it.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Like, well, when he compares that to Christianity and how Christianity copied from that book and how it talks about the multiverse.
They weren't even in contact with the Hindus. Well, I mean the Jews weren't.
He's such a liar.
Well,
It's unbelievable.
Also, yeah, but here's the thing: there may have been contact because a lot of the Christians went to India to evangelize.
I corrected my mistake. I corrected my mistake and said
Thomas went afterwards, but
he went.
This was to spread the idea of Christianity, not to make up an idea of Christianity. So that won't work as well.
We know that a lot of the Bhagavad Gita does borrow from the New Testament because it's like originally what happened in, I believe, the 8th century AD, there was only some like 64 verses, and then after the 8th century AD, there was like over 800 verses.
Yeah, and his historical claims compared to other.
I mean, the man is good at science. Just don't ever go to him for a history lesson or a biblical essay.
No.
Because he will miseducate you.
Well, anything with philosophy.
Let me speak here. I mean, watch his Atheist States video. It is the most abhorrent bullshit I've ever seen. It is the most atheistic bullshit. Me, Injun Brass, and on the Red Pill Religion channel, we totally deconstructed that bullshit video.
What? Wait, which channel is Red Pill Religion?
Atheism had nothing to do with communism.
He basically tried to say that atheism had nothing to do with the French Revolution, the violent religious persecutions of the French Revolution, and communism.
That's so false because you have the cult of reason. Literally, there.
I mentioned that. I literally mentioned that in the video.
And my sources for these are just like Wikipedia and stuff. If a Wikipedia article can debunk his
neutral sources too. You don't have to go to fucking Catholic fixes or Christian sources.
These ideologues just lie out of their teeth, and their impressionable audience just eats it up like hotcakes.
Yeah, and there's also other religions that have been persecuted too, like the Buddhists. I mentioned an article. I mentioned an article called "Buddhism and the Cambodian Revolution," and that was about the horrendous persecution of Buddhists in Khmer Rouge, Cambodia. The religion was virtually wiped out during that time.
Well, Shintoism, and I forget the other Japanese type of Buddhism, but they actually persecuted Christianity in Japan in like 1940s and stuff.
You're thinking in like the 1940s and whatnot. We're talking about communism.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, obviously it's the best system ever. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, along with social.
It works good on paper, but doesn't work.
It's not even ethical on paper.
Huh?
A lot of shit is ethical on paper. I mean, good God. That's why secular humanists.
It's like Christ myth. This is my analogy for Christ mysticism. Communism. It seems nice on paper, but doesn't actually work in reality.
Yeah, it always fails. And then the apologists make the same exact arguments. They say, "Oh, it just wasn't practiced properly. Socialism wasn't practiced properly. Secular humanism wasn't practiced properly. Communism wasn't practiced properly." This is the same crap argument.
You mean atheist apologist or Christian apologist?
Atheist apologist. I'm not talking about Christian.
Well, I was just gonna say, usually apologists is technically you have Islamic apologists and stuff.
Well, when I talk about apologists, I'm usually talking about apologists.
So he defends a proposition, and this certain proposition which we have.
Right, I'm talking more general sense, not just in the religious sense, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. I when you say apologist, I thought you meant Christian apologist. So I was just like, when apologists say this.
I forgot you're a Christian apologist, so.
yeah. If you start talking about my kind, we're gonna have problems. I'm going to practice apologetics and make you apologize to me.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm kidding.
Don't challenge me. I could be pretty deadly. I mean.
Well, it depends on the history. Like if you made a certain historical claim, you would probably debunk me on it. But if we talk about Christ and so on, maybe I would be able to put up. Oh, I would have some ammo to fire back with.
I mean, say about Christ.
I don't believe in Christianity because of the theology. That's my main issue. It isn't the history or the sociology. Or I've known many Christians who are wonderful people, and most people have been nice to me. Are like the most devout Christians ever. So that problem with me.
Well, it would be the problem of Christ's divinity.
Right. That's my issues. It's like
Which
'cause I'm
makes me
more of a
wonder.
natural.
This makes me wonder why why the Christ mythers harp on this so much. Like the Christian faith is already null and void if he never rose from the dead. Why would it even matter if he existed?
Well, see, they're presuppositions. Like there can't be such thing as a miracle. There can't be faith. Faith is that which is opposed to reason. You know, Aaron Ross' definition. He's not willing to change that when he literally decontextualizes faith in Hebrews 11 and then John 28. I'm pretty sure, or John 24, with doubting Thomas and so on.
Haven't you heard? The Bible's failed in every claim it's made. It's no damn good.
Well, yeah, he literally asserts that every claim in the Bible is false. So, you know,
he does this every time he debates a Christian. He always goes on this tired old speeches. He sees theists as a punching bag and just lunges at them.
Well, the thing of it is about Aaron Ra is that he still thinks he's in the year 2008.
He strikes me as someone who really hates God.
Well, of course he's still in the year 2008 because B theory of time. We're still there.
Because that was the golden age of new atheism online.
He's been doing this since 1998.
Well,
hey, that's when I was born.
2008 was the high point of YouTube. I mean,
well, the
internet.
Late 90s was back when life made sense, but still, he's been doing it since then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about his YouTube history, not.
I found. Have you guys seen Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what character I'm going to refer to that literally looks like Aaron Ra?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Radcliffe, yeah.
Yeah. If I ever do an Aaron Ra video, that's going to be my thumbnail.
He got upset when people said he looks like a mixture between him and Jafar.
How did that song go again from Pocahontas?
Savages.
Mine. Anyway, he looks more like the Undertaker in Genghis Khan.
I don't know.
No, he isn't bad enough. He isn't badass enough to be Genghis Khan.
I know that's an insult to them.
So don't insult the Undertaker, for God's sake.
I know that's an insult. I'm sorry, Undertaker. You know I didn't mean it.
Yeah, and make apologies to the Mongolians and for your insult on their founder, Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks a lot like freaking Governor Radcliffe.
And Jafar. A mixture between them both.
He looks like a boss out of Castlevania, and I don't mean a main boss, I mean a mini boss.
Well, I always say he looks like a failed 1970s porn star.
Or a retired death metal head or biker.
No, don't insult death metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't insult bikers either.
We're being juvenile here.
Yeah, I know we are.
Yeah.
We're being.
But him and his fans are hateful. So what? We don't owe them anything.
Well, they don't stop to think about his bullshit either. I mean, look.
No, but you insult Aaron Ra, you insult his fans.
You guys remember that stream I joined RPR on about Aaron Ra, and I was getting called a token atheist? And the token gay guy?
That was in response to him on the Atheist States, I think. Yeah, there was some shithead named John Avenue who commented in the fucking comment section saying that, oh, you're just a token atheist and token homosexual.
Wait, so Stalin's head is literally made out of shit?
That's what it's some shit poster named Jan
So,
Avenue.
do you mind if I screen share something real quick?
Yeah,
No.
Go ahead.
Give me 1 second.
My stream, Harmsy, so.
I was grilled.
Spot the difference. Do you see my screen?
Yes. Let me think. The governor
one is
looks
real?
more attractive.
Well, they're both pretty ugly.
I know, but the governor seems more attractive than Aaron Raw. That's saying something. Sorry, ever since Raw posted a certain thing about libertarianism, basically calling it Republican light, and claimed that the Libertarian Party is homophobic, misogynistic, and all that, I was not too happy.
What happened?
Am I insane of thinking that they look exactly the same?
No, you're
No,
not.
you're not.
I mean, you have the mustache, you have the long hair, you even have the same hat, just different colors, basically. You have the same type of shirt underneath.
Speaking of Disney, Aaron Raw tries to propagate Christianity as Frollo from Hunchback represents Christianity.
Yeah, but Frollo was more badass.
Well, he represents.
He was a dick.
Who?
But anyway, going back to what you shared,
Frollo from Hunchback.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they look just like each other.
Oh, that was literally something I thought of last night because I was just going through these older Disney things because I am sort of a Disney fan, I guess you could say.
Well,
Same here.
Well, most cultured people are.
Yeah, well, I'm not really a cultured person. Just I sort of like some of the old movies because that's what I grew up with and stuff. But I came across that guy. I was just like, holy shit, this is Aaron Raw. when did he become an anime character?
The similarities are uncanny. Seriously. I wonder how
Berserker pointed out he's the Disney villain.
Yeah, I wonder how pissed he gets when he comparisons.
He's a villain, all right.
Oh my god.
Oh, definitely.
Whether that's offensive or not,
he's a pretty terrible villain, but yeah.
Well, and the thing of it is, if he didn't have so many followers, it wouldn't bother. If he was just some idiot who had like a couple hundred followers, I wouldn't care. But he has like, yeah, he has like tens of thousands, or he gets like no 15 to 20.
Yeah, he has nearly 200,000, or it used to be. Now it's shrinking, but yeah.
Oh, good.
But if it makes you feel,
may have 200,000 subscribers, but
if it makes you feel any better, there's a Flat Earther channel with as many subscribers.
Yeah, see.
So how many want to back up my triangle model of the Earth? Because if you want to go for government conspiracy, if you want to say the Illuminati, Vigilant Christian would probably back me up because he's all about the Illuminati. So 3 points.
And that nutcase, Vigilant Christian, has 500,000 subscribers, as much as Jacqueline Glenn.
Well, to be fair, at least he's a Christian and not someone like Aaron Raw.
Well, I do think a lot of what he spouts is bullshit. And
even from a Christian perspective, he annoys me that with his view of Revelation.
He's like a favorite punching bag for like T.J. Kirk and Jacqueline Glenn and all them.
Oh, I saw this one video where T.J. Kirk tried to respond to William Lane Craig, and he just strawmanned him the entire time. And if you saw the CNN...
Everybody who responds to William Lane Craig strawmans him.
Let James D.
Well, T.J. Kirk...
And then,
yeah, T.J. Kirk doesn't understand the difference between validity and soundness of an argument, at least from... That's why I got from his response to deflating atheism and so on. But it's just funny when these online atheists who don't think about anything before they make a video or prepare, they just go into and critique someone like Craig. They don't even understand his arguments.
Well, the thing of it is, so many of them, not all, of course, but so many of them are really ideologically bent. I mean, there's an infamous story. There's an infamous story from Mexico of one of the rulers. His name was Plutarco Elias Calles, and he was like the dictator of Mexico throughout the 1920s. And they said that he was sane on all matters except for religion because he described himself as a violent atheist. That's why he persecuted the Catholic Church in Mexico during the La Cristiada period. And that's just one example. So I don't know.
Well, I think I'm going to go now because it's getting a little late. I need to chat with someone else.
Yeah, sure. Nice to have you on here. It was fun.
Yeah,
no problem, JMD.
I think we all got to wrap this up.
No problem.
Yeah, and,
bye.
Yeah, and I'll watch the rest of your videos too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
All
Das Vidania, comrade.
Well, I'm gonna go too.
All right, everyone's leaving here. Actually,
Yep,
Does
we're
everyone-
everybody's
okay.
I guess.
I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast. All right. So this
Bye.
has been hold on. Let me finish. This has been another edition of the Russian Bot podcast. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and das vidanya, comrades.